Welcome, explorers of the unknown. Today, we're diving into a story of survival, trust, and an unexpected connection that transcends the boundaries of species. In a galaxy where alliances are fragile and danger lurks around every corner, two unlikely allies are about to face a challenge that could change everything. Join me as we explore the intense bond between a human technician and an alien defector, thrown together in the heart of a dying ship, surrounded by enemies and a past they can't outrun. But as the story unfolds, you'll discover that sometimes, survival is not just about escaping, it's about facing what comes next, together. A dark, desolate spaceship floats silently through an unknown part of space. The stars outside are distant, faint pinpricks of light, swallowed by the vast emptiness. The ship, sleek and modern in design, is eerily cold, its polished surfaces gleaming with a strange, unnatural sheen. The interior is filled with an unsettling stillness, as if the ship itself holds its breath, waiting for something, or someone. Orion steps aboard, the quiet hum of the ship's systems greeting him. His boots make soft echoes as he moves forward, each step deeper into the unknown. The door behind him slams shut with a heavy, metallic thud that echoes through the hollow ship. He spins around instinctively, hand already on the panel, but nothing happens. The door doesn't budge. The air inside is thin, tinged with a faint metallic scent, and the hum of the ship's systems is the only sound. Shadows stretch across the walls, almost alive, as if the ship itself is watching him. Confusion creeps over Andrew. He tries again to force the door open, his heart quickening with a rising sense of being trapped. But then, the shadows shift. From the darkness, a figure emerges, a tall, commanding presence. Bikuca. Her skin is a deep shade of purple, her features sharp and alien, yet strangely captivating. Her dark hair falls bluntly to her jaw, framing a face that radiates an unsettling calm. She stands there, observing him, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. She steps forward, her movements deliberate, almost predatory, like she's been waiting for this moment all along. Bikuca, you're not leaving. You're exactly what I needed. Orion's pulse quickens, but he stands firm, masking his unease. Orion, this ship isn't stranded, is it? Bikuca, smart. I chose you. Her words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. Orion doesn't know whether to be relieved or alarmed. What could she want from him? He's just a technician, a rebel without much patience for authority, thrust into this bizarre situation. But her gaze, intense and knowing, makes his instincts scream that there is far more going on than he could ever imagine. Bikuca continues, her voice now softer, but the edge of authority is unmistakable. Bikuca, I've been watching you, Orion. You're exactly what I needed, someone who doesn't follow orders blindly. Someone who pushes back, but also knows when to accept control. Orion's mind races. The tension in the room thickens, like the very air around him has grown heavier, more suffocating. Orion, what do you really want from me? Bikuca, you'll find out soon enough. But for now, follow me. There's something you need to see. A dimly lit central command suite, deep within the heart of the ship. The room pulses with quiet energy, the walls lined with strange, alien technology that seems both organic and mechanical in nature. A low hum vibrates through the air, as if the ship itself is alive, watching, waiting. Bikuca leads Orion into the suite, her presence commanding and mysterious. The walls shift as they walk, subtle movements in the metal that suggest a deep intelligence behind every surface. Holographic displays flicker to life as they pass, casting ghostly lights that dance across the room like phantom shadows. Bikuca, I've been watching you for months, Orion. Your actions, your resistance. I knew you were different. And now, I need you for something very specific. She walks towards a large, sleek console embedded into the floor, her fingers dancing across the surface. The holographic display above it flickers and shifts, revealing an encrypted map of the galaxy, with a red line tracing a path between two star systems. Orion, still reeling from the shock of the situation, watches her, trying to process what's happening. His instincts scream at him to leave, but his curiosity holds him in place. Orion, why me? What makes me so special? Bikuca, because you don't submit, Orion. You fight. And that's exactly what I need. I need someone who can handle the truth, who can see beyond the veil and not break under the weight of it. Her eyes lock onto his, and for a brief moment, he feels a strange connection, a tug in his chest, as if he's being drawn into something much larger than himself. Bikuca, there's a fragment of data, locked away in my species' archives. It can only be unlocked by someone with a unique mind. Someone human. Someone with a resistance to neural suggestions, someone like you. She steps back, revealing a sleek machine, its interface pulsing with a strange, otherworldly energy. The machine hums softly, almost invitingly, its tendrils of light flickering with a subtle urgency. Bikuca, this is a neural interface. It will connect your mind to the data I need. But it won't be easy. The process will be deeply personal. You'll experience things you don't understand, things that will challenge you. Orion steps forward, his curiosity piqued despite the unease gnawing at him. His mind is a whirl of questions, but one thing is clear: this is no ordinary mission. The stakes are higher, the game far more dangerous, and the price of failure unthinkable. Orion, what are you really after, Bikuca? What's this about? Bikuca's expression shifts, a hint of something deeper flickering behind her calm exterior. For a brief moment, her voice softens, almost like a whisper. Bikuca, you'll understand soon enough. But first, you need to trust me. And you need to accept what comes next. She taps the console once more, and the machine begins to hum louder, the lights flashing more intensely. A swirling vortex of data begins to unfold before them, an alien code that seems to shift and pulse with life. As Orion reaches forward, his hand hovering just inches above the interface, a chill runs down his spine. This is no ordinary mission. This is a test. A test of his mind, his will, and his very soul. A small, sterile room, tucked deep within the labyrinthine corridors of the ship. The space is eerily quiet, save for the soft, rhythmic hum of the ship's unseen machinery. The walls are smooth, metallic, and unyielding, cold to the touch and featureless, except for faint lines that suggest hidden mechanisms waiting to be activated. At the center of the room sits a solitary chair, stark and clinical, surrounded by glowing interfaces and pulsating wires that snake out in all directions like veins. The dim lighting casts elongated shadows, filling the room with a strange sense of isolation. Bikuca approaches the chair with a calm, deliberate grace. She doesn't look back at Orion, but he can feel the weight of her gaze, knowing that what's about to happen will alter everything between them. Bikuca, sit. It's time. Orion hesitates, his breath shallow, but he complies. He sits in the chair, and as soon as his body touches the cold surface, the restraints gently snap around his wrists and ankles, holding him in place. The moment he's secured, a soft, almost imperceptible pulse runs through the chair, and a low whirring sound fills the air as the neural interface activates. The room is filled with a strange, tingling energy. The wires and interfaces around Orion begin to hum, glowing brighter with each passing second. His pulse quickens as a faint pressure builds behind his eyes. The interface connects to his mind with a soft, invasive touch, like a whispered thought sliding past his defenses. Bikuca watches him closely, her eyes glinting with a cold intensity as she activates the system fully. Bikuca, this isn't just about data, Orion. It's about understanding, feeling. As the machine connects to his mind, Orion's body is flooded with sensations foreign, vivid, and overwhelmingly real. His vision blurs, and then suddenly, it sharpens, as if his mind is being pulled into another world altogether. He sees flashes of alien landscapes, vast, barren deserts stretching out under twin suns, glittering cities built on towering spires, oceans that pulse with strange, glowing life. It's all so vivid, like memories from someone else's life, someone who isn't human. He feels the warmth of a distant sun on his skin, the strange weightlessness of floating in a foreign atmosphere. His thoughts are no longer his own, they merge with something deeper, more profound, as if they've been intertwined with the essence of the universe itself. Images begin to shift rapidly, too fast for Orion to fully process. His heart races as he feels his mind expand, as though it is simultaneously everywhere and nowhere at once. Amidst the flashes of alien landscapes and strange technologies, Orion begins to see her Bikuca not just as the enigmatic alien who stands before him, but as someone more human than he ever imagined. He sees the depths of her pain, the rebellion that runs through her veins like fire, the coldness of her people's indifference to suffering, and the loneliness that haunts her every decision. The images are raw, unfiltered, and Orion is swept away by the depth of it all. Bikuca's voice cuts through the chaos of images, steady and haunting. Bikuca, I'm not just defecting, Orion. I'm running from a war. From a past that's destroyed me. But I'm not running anymore. I chose you because you understand that. You understand what it means to fight for something no matter the cost. As the neural connection deepens, Orion begins to understand. This isn't just about surviving an alien threat, it's about something far more profound. The feelings he's experiencing are not only his own. They are shared between him and Bikuca. The bond between them is something he can't yet explain, but it's undeniable. It's like they are being woven together, not just by the mission, but by the very fabric of their souls. The interface beeps, and suddenly, the connection sharpens even further. The machine hums, louder now, as the flood of sensations intensifies. For a moment, he feels her Bikuca's presence wrap around him like a wave, overwhelming him. Her thoughts, her emotions, her pain, all of it floods his mind, and for a brief, fragile moment, He knows her like no one else ever could. She is no longer just an alien, no longer a distant being. She is someone who has suffered, who has loved, and who has fought in a war of her own making. And just as quickly as it came, the connection fades, leaving Orion breathless, his body still tingling from the alien energy that lingers in his mind. The ship's corridors, dimly lit by red emergency lights. The walls, once sleek and cold, now seem alive, pulsing with the anxiety of impending danger. Alarms blare as the ship lurches violently, throwing both Orion and Bikuca off balance. The low hum of the ship is drowned by the shrill sound of sirens as a deep, ominous voice echoes through the ship's POS system. POS system, attention, enemy fleet detected. Prepare for combat. Bikuca, get up, Orion. Now. We're not done. Her command is clear, decisive, and almost frightening. Without hesitation, she pulls him to his feet, her hand firm on his shoulder as she leads him through the hallways at a run. The ship shudders again, the low rumble vibrating through the metal floors beneath them. The corridors around them seem to narrow, stretching impossibly long as if the ship itself is closing in on them. The red emergency lights flicker, casting erratic shadows on the walls. Every corner they turn, every step they take, seems to bring them closer to something dangerous and alive. Bikuca, you want to fight Orion? Prove it. Stay focused. Trust me. Orion doesn't respond immediately. His pulse is racing, and his senses are sharp, everything heightened by the adrenaline coursing through his veins. His mind, still tingling from the connection to the neural interface, is clearer than ever, and he feels something deep within him that he can't ignore. Orion, I'm not here to follow orders. I'm not your soldier, Bikuca. But I'll do this my way. The words hang between them, charged with defiance and something else, something Orion can't fully place. In that moment, their eyes lock, and the tension between them shifts. It's not just the danger they face, it's something deeper, something magnetic that draws them closer. The ship groans again as the external alarms grow louder. The sound of enemy ships closing in fills the air, and without another word, they both spring into action. They move as one through the ship's narrow hallways, fending off attackers in perfect synchrony. Orion is a flurry of quick movements, using his training to incapacitate the enemies who dare approach. But there's more to the fight than just physical combat. Every time Bikuca's eyes meet his, there's a spark, a connection, something beyond the mission, beyond the chaos. In the heat of the battle, amid the flashing lights and the booming explosions outside, their bond deepens, and the attraction between them becomes undeniable. The intensity of the moment is charged with something electric, pulling them closer with each passing second. They fight side by side, a seamless unit. Orion's heart pounds, not just from the battle, but from the presence of Bikuca, the strange alien who has haunted his every thought since they first met. Her strength, her confidence, her undeniable power draws him in, like gravity pulling at him, and he can't escape it. They are pushed to their limits, their bodies battered, but they continue to trust each other, fight for each other, and stand by each other in the midst of chaos. Their bond is not just forged through battle, it's tested by everything that lies between them. The emergency escape pod room, a small, claustrophobic space deep within the ship's damaged core. The walls hum with a faint, unsteady vibration, the low thrum of failing systems struggling to stay alive. The air is thick, almost suffocating, with a bitter, metallic taste lingering at the BA Orion's throat. The faint glow of emergency lights casts long, eerie shadows that dance like specters across the walls. The ship groans, a sound deep within its metal bones, as if it is on the brink of collapse. The red emergency lights blink erratically, throwing flashes of crimson across the room. The floor shakes beneath their feet, the shuddering of the ship amplifying the growing sense of impending doom. Bikuca stands in front of one of the escape pods, her face illuminated by the cold light of the controls. She taps a few commands into the console, the display flickering with urgency as the countdown begins. Her movements are quick, decisive, but there's a noticeable edge to her actions, a flicker of doubt in her eyes as she looks up at Orion. Bikuca, you could leave now. Escape. But you won't? Because we're in this together. Her words hang heavy in the air, a challenge, and a question all at once. The ship's damage is severe: external breaches, systems failing, the hull compromised. The escape pod is their only chance, their only way out. But there's something unspoken between them, something neither of them can ignore. Orion doesn't hesitate, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. His body is bruised, battered from the ongoing conflict, but there's a strength in his resolve now, a bond that has formed between them in the heat of the moment. Orion, I'm not running. Not from you. As the words leave his lips, the tension between them shifts. Without another word, Bikuca steps forward, closing the distance between them. Her presence is overwhelming, powerful, mysterious, and now, intimately close. The air between them crackles with unspoken emotions, the weight of the battle, of everything they've faced together, hanging in the balance. Their lips meet in an intense kiss, urgent, desperate, and filled with a rawness that neither can ignore. It's not just about passion, it's about trust, about connection. As their kiss deepens, the world around them seems to fade away. For a brief moment, it's just the two of them, and everything else, the ship, the enemy, the war, disappears. When they finally pull away, their eyes lock. There's no need for words now. They know what they have to do. The pod is ready. They share a final look, their hearts racing, their minds set. They are not just surviving anymore. They are fighting, together. The ship's bridge, the last stronghold of resistance as it spirals toward its inevitable end. The walls are cracked, the consoles flicker with dying light, and the deep, throaty rumble of the ship's dying systems echoes through the chamber like a funeral dirge. Bikuca and Orion stand side by side, their hands steady on the controls, their bodies braced against the pressure of what's to come. The enemy fleet is closing in 5 ships, their forms dark shadows in the distance, silently inching closer with every passing second. Orion, you were always in control. But now, we do this together. You're not alone. There's a finality to his words, a promise that hangs between them like a thread of steel. The tension is palpable, thicker than the air around them. Bikuca doesn't respond immediately, her eyes locked on the tactical screen. But Orion can see the subtle shift in her, an almost imperceptible change in the way she holds herself. She's letting go. She's trusting him. Bikuca, We'll need everything we have. Are you ready? Orion, always. The first enemy ship fires, its weapons charging with deadly energy. The explosion rocks the ship, throwing them both off balance. Bikuca doesn't flinch. She immediately begins tapping commands into the control panel, rerouting power to the ship's weapons systems. The air around them hums with a low growl of the ship's weaponry coming online. Orion watches, his mind working at full speed as he starts hacking into the ship's internal systems. The bridge shakes again, this time with more force. Sparks fly from overhead conduits, showering them both with a brief, fiery rain. Orion, we can't keep them out forever. We'll have to trap them. Bikuca, trap them? What do you? Before she can finish, Orion already begins setting the trap. He quickly manipulates the ship's docking systems, targeting the incoming ships with precision. Bikuca watches him work, impressed by his quick thinking and precision. Bikuca, you think we can actually pull this off? Orion, we don't have a choice. The ship rattles again, this time more violently. Bikuca's hands fly across the console, activating decoys, and scrambling enemy sensors. The first ship attempts to dock, but the trap is set. A massive explosion erupts from the docking bridge, sending shockwaves through the ship. Bikuca and Orion hold firm, their bodies thrown to the floor with the force of the blast. Bikuca, did it work? The tactical screen flickers, and a moment later, a small victory flashes on the display. 2 of the enemy ships are disabled, their engines crippled by the explosion. But the victory is short-lived. The remaining ships adjust their course, moving in for another strike. Bikuca doesn't hesitate. She moves quickly, activating a final line of defense manual overrides that will trigger the ship's self-destruct if the enemy gets too close. Bikuca, they'll be back, Orion. We're out of time. Orion nods, his pulse steady as he grabs the pulse weapon from the side panel. The alarms wail once more, their shrill cry filling the ship. The enemy is closing in, but now, there's nothing left to do but fight. They stand side by side, knowing that the end is near. They've trapped the enemy, but at a great cost. The ship is barely holding together, its systems failing one by one. The last enemy ship is within range. Bikuca turns to Orion, her eyes steely with determination. Bikuca, are you ready for the final move? Orion, let's finish this. In the final moments, they unleash everything they have. The ship's weapons system fires, cutting through the enemy ship's shields with a brutal, resounding crack. The remaining enemy ships retreat, unable to withstand the onslaught. The silence that follows is deafening. The ship is broken, its systems limping along on backup power. But for now, they've won. The enemy has retreated, and the immediate threat is over. As the battle subsides, Bikuca and Orion face each other, their bond stronger than ever. The tension between them hasn't just been about survival, it's about trust, understanding, and something deeper than either of them had expected. They both know that the battle may be over, but the war is far from finished. Their journey together is just beginning. The aftermath of the battle. The ship, now a shattered and bruised relic of its former self, drifts silently in the void of space. The stars around them twinkle like distant, indifferent observers, but the ship is not alone. It hides in the shadow of a dead moon, its surface pocked and scarred by ancient impacts. The moon is lifeless, its surface dark and cold, offering little warmth or comfort. The only sound inside the ship is the gentle hum of the failing systems, the faint whir of emergency lights flickering in the corners of the room, as if the ship itself is holding its breath. The air inside the ship is thin, tinged with the scent of burned electronics and the acrid, metallic sting of damage. There is an unsettling stillness that permeates the room, a silence that seems to stretch on forever, broken only by the occasional creak of the ship's hull as it adjusts to the lack of pressure outside. Bikuca and Orion stand together, side by side, in front of a view portal. The exterior of the ship is barely recognizable after the onslaught. It's battered, scorched in places, and the once pristine hull now carries the scars of their battle. The view outside is a surreal mix of peace and devastation. The dead moon looms large in the background, casting an eerie light over the ship's battered form. Bikuca stands motionless, her back straight, arms crossed, but her gaze softens as she watches the vast emptiness beyond the portal. Her eyes reflect the void outside, but there is something else there, something deeper, as if the silence between them is too profound to fill with words. Bikuca, you didn't just survive, Orion. You changed everything for me. Her voice is quieter now, no longer the commanding tone that had once filled the ship with tension. This is different, softer, more vulnerable. A rare honesty slipping through the cracks of the hardened exterior she's carried for so long. Orion turns to her, his expression unreadable at first, but then softening as the weight of her words sinks in. He hadn't realized how deeply their journey had altered him, how his mind had expanded not just by the mission, but by the bond they had forged, tested in fire, in chaos, and in the darkest corners of space. His gaze flickers toward her, then down to the cracked metal floor, as though trying to ground himself after the storm. There is a shift in him, a moment of realization. The mission, the war, the enemies, they are not what he'll remember most. It's this her, them, and the fragile, unexpected connection they've built. Orion, and you changed me. We're in this together now. The words sound final, as if they've both crossed a threshold, as if the space between them has closed, never to be the same again. They've shed their previous roles, he, the rebellious technician, and she, the cold and distant alien, replaced with something far more complex, more human. They are no longer just allies bound by necessity, nor strangers caught in a web of survival. Their bond is personal now, an understanding, a shared experience that has shaped them both. For a long moment, they stand in silence, their breathing the only sound in the stillness. It's not comfortable, this silence. It's laden with something heavier than the weight of the ship's wreckage. It's the weight of everything they've endured, everything that's passed between them in the chaos. It's the understanding that the universe isn't just vast and indifferent, it's full of stories, and now, their story is just beginning. The ship groans softly as it adjusts to the cold, dark expanse of space. Bikuca moves first, stepping toward the control panel with a quiet certainty, her fingers brushing the smooth, cold surface of the console. The interface hums to life, displaying a few flickering readouts of the ship's remaining systems. There's still power, but it's minimal. There's still life left in the ship, but it's fragile. Bikuca's eyes linger on the screen for a moment before she looks over her shoulder at Orion. Her gaze is intense but unguarded, as if she's finally allowed herself to show something real. Bikuca, we can't outrun our pasts, Orion. But we can face the future. Together. The words are simple, but they carry the weight of 1,000 decisions, of everything they've been through, and everything they've yet to face. In that moment, there's no need for grand gestures. The silence between them speaks volumes. There's no denying it now, they are a team. A unit. And whatever comes next, they will face it side by side. Orion nods slowly, his heart beating in time with the soft hum of the ship's failing systems. He knows this is just the beginning. The universe doesn't stop, doesn't rest. There will be more battles, more challenges. But there will also be more moments like this, when time slows and the world narrows to just the two of them standing together, unbroken. The view outside the portal shifts as the ship drifts slowly in the shadow of the dead moon. The stars are distant, cold. But within the walls of the battered ship, something has changed. Orion and Bikuca no longer feel the weight of the universe pressing in. They've carved out a small space in it for themselves. And in this silence, in this brief, fleeting moment of peace, they allow themselves to simply be together. What do you think? Can a bond formed under such extreme circumstances truly survive the trials of the universe? Or is it just another fleeting connection, doomed to be lost in the stars? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think is coming next for Orion and Bikuca. How do you see their journey unfolding? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you won't miss the next chapter of this thrilling saga. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and keep exploring the unknown with us.